The night sky was clear above the Pacific. The moonlight spread across the clouds like a silver blanket. High above, 4 F-22 Raptors sliced through the cold air, engines roaring softly as they moved in formation. Commander Ryan led the squad, his eyes fixed on the radar screen inside his cockpit. It was supposed to be a routine training patrol. Nothing dangerous, just a quiet night flight to test new systems. The world had changed a lot in 8 years since the last Great Sky War ended. The skies were peaceful again, but every pilot still felt the weight of what had been lost. Ryan glanced at the stars and thought about the pilots who never returned. Among them was one name everyone remembered, Mira, callsign Falcon. She had been the best pilot he ever knew, calm, precise, fearless. She vanished during the final battle 8 years ago when her jet was struck and disappeared into the storm. They searched for days but found nothing. Her jet, her signal, her parachute, everything was gone. She was declared dead, but Ryan never fully believed it. Some nights he still dreamed of hearing her voice on the radio. Tonight felt strange. The air was still, the radar was clean, and yet something about the silence made Ryan uneasy. "Eagle Leader, this is Tower Control," came a voice through the comms. "Everything looks clear. Proceed to Sector 7 and return after one more scan." "Copy that," Ryan replied. "Squad, move to Sector 7. Keep formation tight." His wingmen followed smoothly. They were young pilots trained in a world that had known peace for almost a decade. They had heard the stories about Falcon but treated her like a legend, a ghost from another time. As they entered Sector 7, the radar suddenly flickered. A single blip appeared at the edge of the screen. Then it vanished. Ryan frowned and tapped the radar display. "Control, I'm picking up a signal," he said. "Unknown contact, high altitude, moving fast." "Negative, Eagle Leader," Tower Control answered. "No other craft in that area. Could be a false reading." The blip reappeared again, this time closer. Ryan's heart began to race. "Squad, tighten up. We might have company." The other pilot sounded tense now. "Roger that, sir." Visual contact. Ryan looked through his canopy. The horizon was empty. Only the silver light of the moon over calm clouds. Then out of nowhere, a bright line cut across the sky like a falling star. It stopped abruptly, hovering for a second before descending rapidly. "What in the world is that?" one pilot whispered. Ryan's eyes widened. The object was fast, but it was not moving like any plane he knew. It twisted, shifted, and slowed as if defying gravity. He could feel the vibration through his jet as it came closer. "Control, this is Eagle Leader," he said sharply. "We have visual on an unknown aircraft." "I repeat, we have an unknown aircraft descending fast toward our position." Static filled the radio. Then silence. Suddenly, a faint voice broke through the noise. Falcon 1 requesting permission to land. Ryan froze. His hands gripped the controls tightly. He stared at the radio as if it had come to life. The voice came again, calm and clear. "This is Falcon 1 requesting permission to land." Every pilot went silent. The name Falcon carried a weight none of them could describe. Ryan's throat went dry. "Say again," he said quietly. "Identify yourself." "This is Falcon 1, the voice repeated. "Returning from mission." Ryan's pulse quickened. His breathing grew heavy. He could recognize that voice anywhere. It was Mira. The same calm tone, the same steady way she spoke under pressure. But that was impossible. Mira had been gone for 8 years. "Control, are you hearing this?" Ryan called out. Static answered. Then the radar flashed again. The blip was now directly above them, descending fast. Ryan switched to the squad channel. "Everyone stay alert. Do not engage. Maintain distance." The pilots obeyed, their jets moving into a defensive circle. Through the thin clouds, something began to appear. A dark shape, silent and smooth, almost blending with the sky. It wasn't an F-22. It wasn't any jet Ryan had ever seen. It looked alive, its surface shifting slightly like liquid metal under moonlight. It passed overhead, and for a brief moment Ryan saw a mark on the side. A faded symbol of the old Air Force. And beneath it one word barely visible, Falcon. Ryan's breath caught. "That's her jet," he whispered. "But how?" The mysterious craft slowed, gliding toward the base perimeter. The squad followed from a safe distance. Ryan couldn't take his eyes off it. The way it moved was unnatural. It didn't make a sound. No afterburner, no trail. Just silent grace as if gravity did not exist for it. The base lights below turned on automatically, scanning the night. Ground control came alive with questions, alarms, and orders. Soldiers ran to the runway as the strange craft lowered itself gently. It landed without a sound. Ryan's squad circled once more, then received permission to land. When Ryan climbed out of his jet, the cold wind hit his face. He could see the dark craft up close now. It was sleek, black with curved wings and strange glowing lines running across its hull. It looked part human-made, part something else. Armed soldiers surrounded it cautiously. Engineers and officers watched from a distance. The hatch on top slowly opened, releasing a faint blue mist. Everyone raised their weapons, waiting. A figure stepped out. She was tall, wearing a pilot's suit that looked like an advanced version of their own. Her helmet came off slowly, revealing a woman with calm eyes and short dark hair. Her face was older than Ryan remembered, but unmistakably hers. "Mira," Ryan said under his breath. She looked around, blinking as if adjusting to the lights. Her voice was quiet but steady. "This is Falcon 1, she said. "Mission complete." The soldiers didn't move. Everyone was frozen. An officer stepped forward. "You were declared dead 8 years ago." "Who are you?" Mira looked at him with tired eyes. "I told you. Falcon 1. Pilot Mira. United Earth Air Command." Ryan walked closer, ignoring the shouts to stay back. He stopped a few meters from her, studying her face. "Mira," he said softly. "It's me, Ryan." Her eyes met his, and for a moment the years between them vanished. She gave a small nod. "I know," she said. "Good to see you again." The officers moved in, escorting her away gently but firmly. She didn't resist. She just looked up at the night sky as if searching for something far beyond it. Later, Ryan sat in the briefing room with the rest of his team. They were shaken, whispering among themselves. "Is it really her?" one asked. "She looks human," another said, "but that jet—" "That thing isn't ours." Ryan said nothing. He was still hearing her voice in his head, that same calm tone that once led them through battles. A senior officer entered the room. "You are to remain silent about what you saw tonight," he ordered. "The pilot and the craft are under investigation. This information is classified." Ryan nodded but couldn't stop thinking. Hours passed. The base was quiet again, but the mystery hung heavy in the air. Ryan went to the hangar where they had taken Mira's aircraft. Guards stood around it, but through the glass window, he could see engineers studying its surface. The black metal shimmered faintly under the lights. It pulsed slowly like it was breathing. Then he noticed Mira sitting alone in a small observation room nearby. She looked out through the glass at her craft, deep in thought. Ryan entered quietly. She turned her head slightly, a small smile forming. "You still fly the same way," she said. "Tight turns, too careful." Ryan chuckled softly. "And you still break every rule in the sky." Her smile faded. "I had to." She looked down at her hands. "They wouldn't have let me come back otherwise." "Who are they?" Ryan asked. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she stood and looked out the window again. "Not enemies," she said finally. "Not yet," Ryan frowned. "Mira, where were you all this time? What happened?" She turned to face him. Her eyes seemed distant, like she was still half in another world. "I was rescued after my jet went down," she said slowly. "But not by anyone from Earth. I spent years among them. They studied me, taught me things we can't even imagine. Then they sent me back." "Why?" Ryan asked. "To warn you," she said. The lights in the hangar flickered. The hum of the alien craft grew louder for a moment, then quieted again. Mira's expression remained calm, but Ryan saw the worry behind her eyes. "You'll understand soon," she said softly. "Something is coming." Before he could ask more, the door opened and 2 officers entered. "That's enough for now," one said. "She needs rest." Ryan wanted to protest, but Mira gave him a small nod. "It's all right," she said. "We'll talk again soon." As he left the room, Ryan looked back one last time. Mira stood by the window, her reflection merging with the shadow of the strange craft. Outside, the night sky was calm again, but Ryan could not shake the feeling that the peace was only an illusion. The return of Falcon was not a miracle. It was a warning. Part 2. The Return. The morning sun rose over the mountains of Alaska, spreading golden light across the base. The air was cold, but the entire place buzzed with quiet tension. News of the mysterious return had not reached the outside world. Inside the base, security was doubled. Every hallway, every hangar, and every control room was guarded. Commander Ryan had barely slept. His thoughts kept circling back to Mira. He had seen her face, heard her voice. There was no mistake. She was alive. Yet the jet she arrived in, the strange hum it made and the glowing lines across its surface told him this was not a simple return. Ryan stood at the observation deck overlooking the hangar. Below him, scientists in white suits studied Mira's aircraft. They scanned it with energy sensors, touched the surface with robotic arms, and spoke in hushed tones. The ship's metal seemed to move slightly under their lights, shifting like water. Whenever someone got too close, the machines flickered as if disturbed by invisible waves. Colonel Harris walked beside Ryan, his expression stern. "You saw it land, Commander. You heard her voice. Tell me the truth. Do you believe that is really Falcon?" Ryan hesitated. "Yes, I know her voice. But she has changed. Something in her eyes is different." Harris nodded slowly. "We will find out soon enough. She is being debriefed right now. No outside contact. No recordings. Everything classified." Down below, Ryan could see a small glass room in the corner of the hangar. Inside, Mira sat calmly at a metal table. 2 officers and a scientist were questioning her. She answered each question slowly, clearly, as if choosing her words with care. Ryan could not hear the conversation, but he could read her face. She looked tired, but not afraid. She looked like someone carrying a secret too heavy to share. Hours passed before Ryan was called in to join the session. When he entered the room, Mira turned her head and smiled faintly. "Good morning, Ryan," she said. "Morning," he replied, trying to sound calm. "How are you feeling?" She gave a small shrug. "Better than the last time you saw me." The officers ignored their exchange. One of them, Major Ellis, spoke in a sharp tone. "Pilot Mira, you claim to have been rescued by non-human entities. We need details. What kind of beings? Where did they take you?" Mira looked at him evenly. "They are called the Saren, not a race like us. More like light and energy given form. They live in a place far beyond our solar system. They found my ship drifting after the crash. They repaired my body, then studied me." "Studied you?" Ellis asked. "Yes, they wanted to understand what makes humans fight so hard to live. They were curious why we risk everything for others." The scientist leaned forward. "And this aircraft you returned in?" "It is built from their technology." "Partly," Mira said. "They allowed me to design it using both their knowledge and our own systems. I built it over years while living among them." Ellis crossed his arms. "You expect us to believe you built this yourself?" Mira looked at him steadily. "With their help. They gave me tools beyond what we know. They taught me how to shape metal that can think. That ship is not just a machine. It is alive in a way." The officers exchanged uneasy glances. Ryan watched her closely. There was no lie in her voice. Only calm certainty. The questioning continued for hours. She spoke of stars that glowed with unknown colors, of places where sound did not exist, and of the Saren who watched the universe without aging. Some in the room looked skeptical. Others were simply speechless. When the session ended, Mira was taken to a private cabin inside the base. Ryan followed the guards silently until they left her alone. Then he knocked once on the door. "Come in," she said. Her small cabin looked simple. A bed, a desk, and a small window showing the snow outside. She stood by the window holding a cup of water. "I did not think they would let you in," she said softly. "They think I can get answers," Ryan replied. "They do not trust you yet," she smiled faintly. "They should not. I am not the same person who left 8 years ago." Ryan stepped closer. "Then tell me what happened." "Not to the officers. Tell me the truth." Mira stayed silent for a moment. Then she said, "When I fell from the sky, I thought it was over. The fire, the spin, the ground coming closer, and I accepted it. Then I woke up surrounded by light. Shapes moved around me, not solid, not flesh. I could hear them without sound. They fixed me, my bones, my heart, even my mind. They showed me things about our world that we never see. And they showed me something else." "What?" Ryan asked. "That there are others," she said quietly. "Not all of them kind. The Saren are not the only ones watching us. Some believe we are dangerous. They think humans will destroy the balance of the galaxy. They want to remove the threat before it grows." Ryan frowned. "Remove us?" "Yes," she said. "But the Saren who saved me disagreed. They said humans are unpredictable, but they have something no other species has. Emotion, courage, the ability to create hope even in despair. They said that spark is rare. That is why they sent me back. To warn us, Ryan said slowly. She nodded. A storm is coming, Ryan. I have seen the weapons they can use. We are not ready. But maybe with what I brought back we can be. Ryan stared at her. You mean that craft? The one in the hangar. It is more than a craft, she said. It is a link. A bridge between their world and ours. If we can learn from it, we might stand a chance. For a long moment, neither spoke. The wind outside howled softly against the window. Finally, Ryan said, If this is true, the generals will want to use it as a weapon. I know, she said, and that is what worries me. The Saren wanted me to guide humanity, not arm it. But if we do nothing, we will not survive what is coming. There was a knock at the door. Colonel Harris entered with 2 soldiers. Mira, he said, you are to report to the research division. They want to test your craft further. Commander Ryan will accompany you. Mira nodded calmly. As they walked through the corridors, soldiers moved aside, staring at her with silent curiosity. Some whispered her name. Others looked at her with fear. To them, she was both legend and mystery. Inside the research hangar, the alien craft rested on its landing gear. Engineers had placed cables and scanners all around it. The hum from its surface filled the air like a faint song. A scientist approached Mira. We tried to open the secondary panel, but the surface seals itself instantly, he said. It will not let you in, Mira replied. It responds only to certain signals. She placed her hand gently on the hull. The glowing lines brightened, spreading under her fingers. A soft vibration passed through the floor. The scientist stepped back in awe. What did you do? Ryan asked. I asked it to trust you, she said. The ship shifted slightly, opening a section on its side. A ramp unfolded, leading into the interior. The air that came out smelled fresh like rain after a storm. Inside, the walls shimmered with gentle light, flowing like liquid silver. Mira guided them in. This is the heart of the ship. It reads the mind of the pilot and adjusts itself. It learns emotions, not commands. Ryan looked around, amazed. This is beyond anything we have ever built. Yes, she said. But you must understand, power like this is dangerous if used with fear. Colonel Harris spoke from behind them. Our job is to protect Earth, not to fear it. Mira turned to him. Then protect it wisely. The wrong move could bring war from the stars. That night, while the scientists continued their research, Ryan sat alone in the mess hall. Outside, snow fell softly. He could not stop thinking about what she had said. Humanity had always fought wars on Earth, but this time the battlefield was the sky itself. Mira found him there, carrying 2 cups of coffee. She sat across from him quietly. You always stayed up before missions, she said. Some habits never change, he smiled faintly. Neither do yours. You always appear when I least expect it. They sat in silence for a while. The hum of the heaters filled the empty hall. Ryan, she said finally, they will not listen to me for long. They will try to control what they do not understand. Promise me something. What is it? If things go wrong, if they try to use the ship as a weapon, stop them. Promise me you will protect what it stands for. Ryan looked at her, then nodded slowly. I promise, she smiled, relief softening her eyes. Good, then maybe we still have a chance. A sudden alarm blared through the base. Red lights flashed along the corridors. Both of them jumped to their feet. What now? Ryan said, rushing toward the control room. Inside, officers shouted over one another. Screens flickered with strange signals. Unidentified transmissions detected from orbit, one reported. High-energy bursts in pattern formation. No known source. Mira's face turned pale. It has started, she whispered. Ryan turned to her. What do you mean? They have found us, she said. Everyone in the room fell silent. The radio crackled again, filled with static and faint echoes. For a moment, Ryan thought he heard something like voices. Distant, metallic, cold. Mira stared at the screen, her jaw tight. The Saren warned me this would happen if I returned too late, she said softly. The other faction is already watching. The officers turned to her, demanding answers. But she only looked out through the glass window toward the night sky. High above the clouds, something flickered, a faint light moving fast, then another beside it. One after another they appeared, forming a pattern across the stars. Ryan felt his heart sink. Are those ships? Mira nodded. Not yet attacking. Only watching. But they will not wait long. Part 3, the warning. The base had never been this busy. Soldiers moved quickly through hallways, carrying equipment and reports. Scientists scurried between labs, analyzing data from the strange signals detected in orbit. The alarm had not stopped since the night before. The unknown ships above Earth had not attacked, but their presence was enough to unsettle everyone. Commander Ryan stood at the control center, his eyes scanning the radar displays. The lights above glowed red, indicating incoming transmissions and unidentified objects. Beside him, Mira watched silently, her calm demeanor in contrast with the tension in the room. "They are watching," she said quietly. "Not everyone agrees on what to do with Earth. Some think we are a threat. Some want to learn from us. The problem is the ones who think we are a threat have the power to act." Colonel Harris frowned. "Do you mean they will attack?" Mira shook her head slightly. "Not yet. But they are preparing. They have technology we cannot imagine, weapons that can disable cities without warning. If we are not ready, humanity will not survive." The scientists looked at her skeptically. One of them, Dr. Tanaka, spoke up. "With all respect, Mira, you returned 8 years later. How can we be sure you are telling the truth?" Ryan put a hand on Dr. Tanaka's shoulder. "She's telling the truth. Look at her craft. Look at what she brought back. This is beyond human design." Mira turned to the group. "I can help you prepare. I can teach you how to use the craft and its technology to protect Earth. But you have to trust me. And you have to move quickly. Time is short." Colonel Harris nodded. "What do you suggest?" Mira walked toward the holographic map of the Pacific and the surrounding airspace. Blue lines and dots flickered across the display. "We need to strengthen Earth's defenses. Upgrade the jets. Integrate alien technology where it is safe. Train pilots to think beyond what they know. The enemy is not like us. They do not fight the same way we do." Ryan looked at her, studying her face. "You have been among them. You have seen their tactics. How fast can they strike?" She hesitated. "Hours, maybe days. They will not give us time to build a large fleet. We have to be precise, smart, and united. That is the only way." Colonel Harris stood tall. "Then that is what we will do. Ryan, you will work with Mira on the upgrades. Start immediately. Everyone else focus on readiness. Nothing leaves the base without approval." Ryan nodded and followed Mira to the hangar where her craft waited. The glowing blue lines of the ship pulsed softly like a heartbeat. It seemed almost alive, waiting for her touch. "This is the key," Mira said. "If we understand it, we can adapt our jets. We can protect Earth, but we must be careful. It does not respond well to aggression or fear." Ryan examined the interior. The cockpit was unlike any fighter he had flown. Panels of light floated in front of him. Controls shifted and adjusted to his hands. Small holograms displayed star maps and energy readings he could barely comprehend. Mira placed her hand on the main control panel. "It will respond to your intent," she explained. "Calm focus. Clear thinking. Let it guide you, not the other way around." Ryan took a deep breath and reached out. A faint pulse traveled through his arms, almost like the ship was testing him. He felt a connection forming, a bond with the machine that went beyond human understanding. "Good," Mira said. "Now we start training." The following days were intense. Ryan and the other pilots trained with the hybrid systems, learning how to integrate alien energy shields, enhanced targeting systems, and advanced navigation controls. The technology was difficult at first. Many jets responded unpredictably. Some pilots grew frustrated. Others were overwhelmed by the speed and precision the systems demanded. Mira remained calm, guiding each pilot patiently. "Trust yourself," she told them. "The craft amplifies your instincts. You do not control it. You cooperate with it. That is how humans win." The more they trained, the more the pilots realized the truth in her words. The hybrid technology was unlike anything they had known. The energy shields could protect jets from missiles. Advanced sensors could detect objects far beyond radar. The weapons were powerful but precise, designed not for destruction but for defense. Ryan worked closely with Mira, learning the deeper patterns of the ship. She shared information about the enemy's likely methods. "They do not attack openly," she said one evening. "They strike with speed, intelligence, and coordination. They will observe before acting. They test before committing," he nodded. "So the signals we saw are a warning, not an attack." "Exactly," Mira said. "They want to see how we respond. They want to know if humans can adapt." Colonel Harris called a meeting in the command center. On the holographic map, several small dots appeared in orbit. They moved in formations that no human pilot could match. Mira studied them carefully. They are scouting patterns, she explained. They are analyzing us, learning how we think, how we respond. Their observation is dangerous because they will act based on what they see. If we show fear, hesitation, or division, they will strike hard. Ryan watched the screen. Then we need to be united. Every pilot, every system, every decision must be perfect. Yes, Mira said. Humanity is strongest when it acts together. That is our advantage. They may have technology, but we have courage, creativity, and unpredictability. That is what they fear. The officers listened quietly. Some still doubted, but Mira's calm authority made them hesitate to argue. Later, Ryan joined Mira in the hangar again. The sun had set and the glow from her craft illuminated the dark room. Do you trust them? He asked quietly. Some, Mira replied. Many will follow orders. Some will not. That is why we must prepare everyone, not just the pilots. Everyone must understand the stakes. Ryan nodded. How do we convince them? We do not, she said. We show them. Through training, through action. When they see what humans can do, they will follow. We are not the strongest in technology, but we are the strongest in spirit. That is what counts. The next few days were filled with simulations. Pilots learned to maneuver in ways they never thought possible. Hybrid F-22s moved at impossible speeds, dodging imaginary attacks and coordinating in perfect formations. The more they practiced, the more confident they became. Mira worked with engineers to modify jets further. Shields were improved, targeting systems adapted. Weapons were refined to work in coordination with the pilot's instincts. Ryan noticed a change in the squad. Fear from the unknown began to turn into excitement. They were becoming more than just pilots. They were becoming defenders, ready to face an enemy they could not see. One evening, while reviewing training footage, Mira called Ryan aside. They will arrive soon, she said. I can feel it. The patterns we saw are preparing for action. They will test us first, not attack outright. That is their way. Observe, analyze, then decide, Ryan frowned. How can we survive a test from them? We do not know what they are capable of. Mira's eyes were steady. Because we are human. We are unpredictable. We do not follow patterns like machines. That is why we can win. But we must act as one. Hesitation will cost lives. Fear will cost Earth. Ryan looked out through the hangar windows at the night sky. Stars glittered peacefully, hiding the unknown watchers. Do we have enough time to train everyone? He asked. Not enough, Mira said. But enough to make a difference. That is all we need. The next morning, alarms blared again. Red lights flashed. Radar detected movement from orbit. Small craft descended slowly into the upper atmosphere. Ryan and Mira moved quickly to the hangar. Pilots scrambled into their upgraded jets and hybrid F-22s roared to life. The air was thick with tension, but the crew followed their training. Mira climbed into her craft, the blue glow pulsing under her hands. Ryan watched as she prepared for the first real test. Stay calm, she said to him. Trust your instincts. Trust each other. That is what will save us. The squadron took off, following Mira into the night sky. The unknown ships moved above them, silent and distant, observing every maneuver. Ryan felt adrenaline surge through him. This was no longer training. This was a warning, a test of humanity itself. He glanced at Mira, whose face was calm, almost serene. She had returned from the impossible and now led them into the unknown. The sky above Earth was quiet but charged with invisible tension. Every pilot knew that the coming hours could change everything. Humanity was about to face a test unlike any before, and above them, unseen watchers analyzed, waiting for the moment to decide the fate of a small, determined race. Mira's voice came through the comm. This is Falcon 1, follow my lead. We will show them what humans are capable of. Ryan gritted his teeth. Let's do it, he said. The squadron moved as one, soaring toward the unknown. Every twist, every turn, every calculated move was a statement. Humans were not easy to predict. Humans were not weak. And the unknown watchers would soon learn that the spark of humanity was not so easily extinguished. Part 4. The sky burns. The night sky over the Pacific shimmered with the faint glow of distant stars. Below, the ocean stretched endlessly, reflecting the silver light of the moon. But above, the calm of space and sea was broken by motion. Unknown ships moved silently, invisible to radar yet observed by trained eyes and advanced sensors. Commander Ryan's squadron of F-22s soared through the night, upgraded with Mira's guidance and the hybrid technology she had brought. Their engines roared with human power, but the subtle blue glow from their energy shields hinted at something more. They were ready, trained, and determined. Mira led the squadron, her hands moving confidently over the controls of her hybrid craft. The blue lines along its hull shimmered with every maneuver. "Stay sharp," she said through the comm. "Do not hesitate. Trust your instincts. We are humans. That is our greatest weapon." The unknown ships were now visible. They glimmered with faint light, moving in synchronized formations that made them almost impossible to track. Their shapes were fluid, constantly changing, and their speed was beyond any F-22. Yet Ryan and his squadron did not falter. "Eagle 2, flank left," Mira instructed calmly. "Eagle 3, follow me. Maintain distance, but stay ready for rapid engagement." The pilots responded without question, their confidence growing. The hybrid technology worked in harmony with their reflexes. Shields activated, targeting systems adjusted instantly, and their weapons hummed with precise energy. The first encounter was sudden. A single enemy craft darted from the formation, moving toward the squadron with incredible speed. It fired a pulse of energy. Ryan felt it grazing his shield, a warning more than an attack. He adjusted his trajectory instantly, the jet responding perfectly to his intent. "Keep formation," Mira commanded. "Do not break. Predict their moves. Use their patterns against them." The squadron split and merged, twisting through the clouds like a ribbon of silver and blue. Each pilot moved as one unit, guided by training, instinct, and Mira's quiet commands. Another wave of enemy ships descended. This time they attacked in pairs, surrounding the squadron. Energy pulses streaked through the sky, but every F-22 dodged, blocked, or absorbed the energy through their shields. The pilots were tense yet focused. Fear did not guide them. Strategy and courage did. Ryan's heart pounded, but he trusted Mira. He followed her lead, mirroring her movements. She knew their enemies' patterns. She had studied them while among the Saren. Every twist and dive she commanded was calculated, turning danger into advantage. "Focus on their formation, not their weapons," Mira instructed. "They predict attacks based on patterns. Break the pattern. Be unpredictable." Ryan felt a surge of clarity. He banked sharply, dodging an energy pulse, then twisted again to intercept an enemy ship from above. Another pilot followed, and together they cornered the enemy. A pulse from their weapon disabled the craft without destruction, neutralizing it safely. The squadron regrouped. The unknown ships hesitated, observing the humans with care. Mira's eyes never left the sky. "They are learning," she said softly. "We must show them humanity is not controlled by fear. We fight for courage, for creativity, for life." The enemy's next move was rapid. Ships dived from above, splitting the squadron. Energy bursts flashed like lightning, illuminating the night clouds. Ryan felt the pulse of power wash over him through the hybrid shield. The jet moved as if alive, twisting and adjusting to his intent. He realized that for the first time, human skill and alien technology worked perfectly together. Mira's voice came through, calm and guiding. "Eagle 1, lead them into the turn. Predict the next move. Focus on the whole sky, not just your target." Ryan did as she said. The squadron moved in perfect coordination, creating a pattern that was human yet impossible for the enemy to anticipate. They twisted through clouds, banking sharply, rising and falling, every maneuver testing their speed and skill. The unknown ships faltered, unable to predict the unpredictable. Ryan saw an opportunity. He signaled the squad. They converged from different directions, striking simultaneously. Energy pulses locked onto their targets, disabling multiple ships at once. Mira guided them further. "Do not destroy. Disable. Show them that humans fight with precision and purpose, not chaos." The enemy ships reacted quickly, regrouping. But it was too late. The humans had adapted. Each maneuver was calculated, each strike deliberate. They moved as one, blending instinct and technology into a force that even the unknown ships could not fully understand. Ryan felt a thrill he had not felt in years. The squadron had grown beyond mere pilots. They were defenders of Earth, combining courage, skill, and the hybrid craft's power. The enemy pulses came faster now, more aggressive, but each was countered. The humans fought not just to survive, but to prove their strength. Mira's craft moved effortlessly among them. Her voice was steady, guiding, inspiring. "This is Falcon 1, we are human. We are unpredictable. Show them what that means." The sky seemed to ignite with energy and motion. F-22s glowed with blue shields streaking through clouds. Enemy ships shimmered and shifted, attempting attacks and retreats, but the humans always stayed ahead. Ryan felt the bond with his craft strengthen. Every movement was instinct, every decision precise. He realized Mira had not only returned to warn them, she had returned to lead them into a new era, to show humanity its true potential. An enemy wave approached from above, larger than before. Their formation was tight, coordinated, almost machine-like. Mira did not flinch. "Split the formation," she commanded. "Divide them, isolate them, disable without fear." The squadron executed her instructions flawlessly. The hybrid F-22s moved like liquid metal, twisting and turning, intercepting enemy ships one by one. Pulses struck targets, shields absorbed strikes, and the humans pressed forward with courage. For a moment, Ryan felt the impossible. They were winning. Not because of technology alone, but because humans fought with unpredictability and unity. Every pilot trusted each other, every move coordinated through instinct and training. They had become more than machines, more than pilots. Mira led the final maneuver. Her craft dove toward the center of the enemy formation, her movements sharp, precise. Ryan followed, feeling the pulse of her ship guiding his. Together they executed a complex twist, striking the enemy flagship from both sides. Energy pulses connected, disabling the enemy without destruction. The flagship glowed, then powered down. The remaining ships hesitated, confused by the human skill. Mira's voice cut through the comm. "We have shown them what humans are capable of. Retreat is not weakness. They understand now that courage is not predictable." The enemy ships scattered, retreating into orbit. The sky calmed, leaving only stars and clouds. The squadron regrouped, engines humming softly, shields dimming. The humans had won the encounter not through force alone, but through coordination, courage, and creativity. Ryan landed first, his hands trembling slightly. He had flown many missions, faced countless dangers, but this felt different. They had faced an unknown enemy and survived. They had adapted and won. Mira landed shortly after, her craft touching down silently. She emerged, her calm presence steadying the nerves of the pilots. "Well done," she said. "You fought as humans should. You adapted. You proved that spirit matters more than technology." Colonel Harris met them on the tarmac. "This is more than a victory," he said. "This is a message. Humanity has shown it can face the impossible and survive." Ryan turned to Mira. "You led us. You brought something back that changed everything." She shook her head slightly. "I only showed you what you already had. Courage, creativity, and unity. That is what makes humans strong. Not technology. Not power. The spark is in us." The pilots looked at each other, understanding her words. They had faced an unknown force and emerged victorious. They were no longer ordinary pilots. They were defenders of Earth, carrying the human spark that Mira had spoken of. As dawn approached, the sky brightened with the first rays of sunlight. The squadron gathered on the tarmac, exhausted but proud. Mira stood among them, her eyes scanning the horizon. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "Others are watching. They have learned that humans are not weak. They will test us again, but now we are ready." Ryan looked at her. "We will be ready together," she nodded. "Yes, together." The wind blew gently across the base, carrying the scent of the ocean. Above, the stars faded into morning light, but the memory of the night remained. Humans had faced the unknown and survived. They had adapted, overcome, and won. And somewhere in orbit, unseen watchers analyzed, realizing that the small, unpredictable species they underestimated had a courage that could not be measured or controlled. Mira smiled faintly. "They will remember this night," she said. "The night humans showed their spark. And they will think twice before underestimating us again." Ryan felt a warmth in his chest. The world was changing. Humanity had proven itself not just to the unknown watchers, but to themselves. They had survived the impossible. And for the first time in years, he believed that no matter what came next, humans would never give up. The squadron dispersed to their quarters, tired but proud. Mira walked toward her craft, her eyes reflecting the first light of day. She had returned from the impossible, led humanity through a test, and reminded them of their greatest strength. Part 5. The Spark of Humanity. The sun had risen fully over the base, casting golden light across the snow-covered hangars. The events of the previous night were still fresh in everyone's minds. Humanity had faced an unknown threat and survived, but no one was under any illusions. This was only the beginning. Commander Ryan walked through the hangar where the hybrid F-22s stood, their blue shields dimmed after the night's battle. Engineers worked tirelessly, analyzing performance data and repairing minor damages. Every pilot who had flown the mission moved with a mix of exhaustion and pride. They had survived a first test and they knew more tests were coming. Mira stood near her craft gazing at it. The soft hum of the ship seemed to resonate with her presence. Ryan approached quietly. "Are you all right?" he asked. "I am," she said. "But the night is not over. The Watchers are still out there. They are learning from our actions. They will not strike openly yet. They will wait. That is their method. Observe, analyze, then decide." Ryan nodded. "Then we prepare. We cannot give them any weakness to exploit." Mira smiled faintly. "Exactly. And that is why we train, adapt, and work together. The spark of humanity is not technology, not weapons. It is courage, creativity, and unity. That is what they fear most." Colonel Harris entered, holding a tablet with the latest satellite scans. "We have detected additional anomalies in orbit. Multiple small craft moving toward Earth from a distant point. They are fast and advanced, but they are not acting aggressively yet." Mira's eyes narrowed. "They are testing again. We must be ready." Ryan glanced at the young pilots who had been part of the squadron last night. They were gathered nearby, discussing maneuvers, sharing insights, and analyzing the enemy's patterns. He saw determination in their eyes. Fear had been replaced by confidence. The humans had learned to adapt. Mira turned to Ryan. "We need to conduct live drills. Full coordination, hybrid systems engaged. Every pilot must understand instinct and cooperation. Only then can we face what is coming." The drills began immediately. F-22s soared into the sky, now glowing with the faint energy of the hybrid systems. Pilots executed complex patterns, practicing defensive and offensive maneuvers against imaginary enemies. Every twist, turn, and dive tested their skill and adaptability. Ryan flew alongside Mira. Her craft moved gracefully, faster than any human-built jet should, yet her control was precise. "Remember," she said over the comm, "anticipate, adapt, and cooperate. Do not just react. Lead with intent," the pilots responded, following her movements as a unit. The training was intense, but the results were remarkable. F-22s with hybrid systems were performing beyond human limits, yet every maneuver relied on the pilot's skill. Technology amplified humanity's strength but did not replace it. As the sun began to set, the radar detected something unusual. Small ships appeared at the edge of orbit. They moved quickly, but their purpose was not clear. They did not fire. They did not signal. They were observers, silent and calculating. Mira studied the display. They are watching again, not attacking. Learning from us. Their patterns are different this time. More cautious, more analytical. They know we are stronger than before. Ryan frowned. "Then what do we do? Wait for them to strike?" "No," Mira said. "We do not wait. We act first, not with aggression but with presence. We show them that humanity is aware, prepared, and united. That is the message they will remember." The squadron took off, flying in formation across the night sky. F-22s glowed softly with hybrid energy. Their movements were precise, coordinated, and confident. Ryan led a segment, practicing maneuvers designed to show skill without hostility. Above them, the Watchers observed, analyzing, recording. They moved closer, forming new patterns in the darkness. Each movement was calculated, testing human responses. Mira's voice guided them. "Focus on coordination. Show them unity. Show them courage. Every action matters. The spark of humanity is alive in all of you." The squadron executed a complex aerial ballet. F-22s twisted, turned, rose, and dived, forming patterns that no machine could predict. The Watchers observed, confused by the unpredictable movements. Human instinct, combined with training and technology, created something the unknown forces had not anticipated. Ryan felt a surge of pride. Humanity was not just surviving. They were proving themselves. The unknown Watchers had underestimated the most important quality humans possessed: creativity under pressure. Suddenly, an energy pulse struck near the squadron. It was not an attack, but a test. Ryan's jet rocked, shields glowing as they absorbed the pulse. Other pilots adjusted immediately, moving with instinct and precision. "They are testing," Mira said calmly. "Do not retaliate. Move as one. Show them that fear does not control us." The squadron responded perfectly. They moved through the pulse, dodging, weaving, and countering the challenge. The watchers observed more carefully now, recalculating their assumptions about humanity. Ryan glanced at Mira. "This is beyond anything we have trained for." She nodded. "It is, but you are ready." Every pilot here has learned to think beyond limits. That is why we are still alive. That is why we can succeed. The energy pulses continued, each one testing speed, precision, and coordination. The squadron responded flawlessly, growing more confident with each encounter. Fear had been replaced by skill and courage. Every pilot understood their role, every move executed with purpose. As the night deepened, the watchers began to retreat. They had observed enough. The humans had proven themselves unpredictable, resourceful, and united. Mira's guidance and the hybrid technology had amplified human strength, but it was courage and cooperation that had made the difference. The squadron returned to the base, engines humming, shields dimming. The pilots were exhausted but exhilarated. They had faced the unknown and survived. They had adapted and grown stronger. Ryan landed and immediately went to Mira. "They retreated," he said. "We did it. We survived." Mira smiled, though her eyes were serious. "Yes, but this is only the beginning. They will return. Others will come. We must continue to prepare, continue to train. The spark of humanity must remain alive, strong, and unbroken." Colonel Harris approached. "You have changed everything tonight," he said. "Humanity is no longer defenseless. The unknown forces have seen our strength and our spirit." Mira shook her head. "They have seen a glimpse. They will not forget. That is why we must be vigilant. That is why every pilot, every engineer, every person at this base matters. We are more than a fleet. We are humanity itself. That is the spark they fear most." Ryan looked around at the young pilots. They were tired, but their eyes shone with determination. Fear had been replaced by courage, skill, and hope. They had seen the impossible and learned that humans could rise to any challenge. Mira placed her hand on his shoulder. "Remember this, Ryan, the spark of humanity is in all of us. It is what allows us to survive, to adapt, and to overcome. Technology helps, but courage defines us. Creativity leads us. Unity strengthens us. That is why we endure." Ryan nodded. "I understand. We will protect it. We will protect Earth." She smiled faintly. "And one day, they will understand that humans are not to be underestimated. That day will come because we have learned to fight with heart and mind together. That is what makes us strong." As the sun rose higher, the base returned to routine. Repairs continued, training resumed, and preparations for future encounters intensified. Humanity had survived a test from the unknown. They had faced an enemy beyond imagination and proven that courage, skill, and unity could overcome even the most advanced technology. Mira stood by her craft, her eyes on the horizon. She had returned from the impossible, led humanity through its first trial, and reminded them of their greatest strength. Ryan walked beside her, silent but determined. "What now?" he asked. "Now we continue," Mira said. "We train. We prepare. We grow stronger. And we make sure the spark of humanity never fades. That is our mission, our duty, and our legacy." The sky was clear and bright, the stars now fading in the morning light. Humanity had faced the unknown and survived. They had learned, adapted, and overcome. The watchers had retreated, but their presence remained a reminder of the challenges yet to come. Mira climbed into her hybrid craft, ready to continue training and preparation. Ryan watched, feeling the weight and importance of what they had accomplished. Humanity had faced an impossible test and had emerged victorious. The spark of humanity burned brighter than ever. And somewhere beyond the stars, unseen watchers noted the strength, courage, and unpredictability of a species they had once underestimated. Humanity had survived the night. Humanity had proven its worth, and the future was theirs to shape.